from the Interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon on assignment in Philadelphia.
I'm Tony Kornheiser. Philadelphia? I'm in the studio. Why aren't you here?
Because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and OKC is here in Philly. They're not in the studio. I hate to inform you of that.
Wait, so he's more important than I am? Because Sunday night, when they played in Washington, you didn't go.
Yeah,
you went to Georgetown, but you didn't go see him. So now you dump me? That's great. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, Sam Darnold's future, Deion's intrigue with the Cowboys, and Jeff Saturday joins us for 5 good minutes. But we begin today with the Rams defense sacking Sam Darnold 9 times last night, intercepting him once and causing him to fumble, a scoop and score as Los Angeles throttled the Vikings 27-9 in their home away from home, Arizona. Wilbon, you thought the Vikings would win. What does this performance say to you about the Rams?
Well, beyond me underestimating the Rams, Tony, part of it, and you and I talked about this openly, privately, and then publicly over the last few days, the situation the Rams were facing, it just seemed so, I shouldn't use the word insurmountable, but it was just so difficult with what's going on back at home in Southern California. Yeah. And it was great of both. I know the Cardinals were involved in this and the league and the Rams to put families and even family pets on a plane. More than 400 people flying a couple of planes to Phoenix, to Glendale to play that game. The stress that has to be involved. I don't even know how you can focus. How can you concentrate on a particular task at hand, which is as exacting as a football game, a playoff football game? You can lock in on that with everything that's going on around your home. I have nothing but love and praise for the Los Angeles Rams, the way they went about their business, their preparedness, their professionalism, the inspiration which they played with. Maybe they derived some of it from the difficulty of the situation, a tragic situation in Southern California. I can't get over it. I can't believe what they did. I have nothing but praise for that team.
I'm going to get to what you said in a second. I'm going to go to the game, though, first, that it turns out in hindsight that maybe the most important play of the game is right at the top of the second quarter when it appears that Stafford is, as he is sacked, that he fumbles the ball, that it's picked up, it's brought into the end zone. The referee goes like this, and you're thinking it's 10-10. And then correctly, they reverse that call because Stafford, he's not trying to throw the ball down the field, but he's trying to avoid the sack. After that, Minnesota never threatens again. The Rams get 2 touchdowns in that quarter. It's 24-3, I think, at halftime, and the game is over. And now to get to what you said. I watched Sean McVay and I watched Matthew Stafford talk about the fires in the post game. I watched that. I watched them, it seemed to me, try to come to grips with their small part in this larger whole here and what the Rams could do. I watched, I think it was Andrew Whitworth in the pregame ceremony when he talked about the Los Angeles community and the strength of it. And he thanked the first responders and he thanked the firefighters and all of that. And then I read that Roger Goodell said that 45,000 fans had flown or driven from California to watch this game. And I thought, Mike, maybe in their own way, the Rams took strength and purpose from all of that. Because I did not expect them to win either. I did not.
No, didn't either. Kudos. Not even enough. And I think there's no too much praise for the Rams and the organization and the team.
Puzzling team, though, Mike.
It's a disappointing.
They start out the season every year, last 2 years. They have a terrible record, 4 or 5 games in. Then they get hot and get to the playoffs. Puzzling.
They're playing well when it counts.
Yeah.
It's a disappointing finish, however, to a surprising season for the Vikings. After losing rookie quarterback J.J. McCarthy in the preseason to a serious injury, Sam Darnold stepped in from oblivion and led the team to the brink of the NFC's #1 seed. But, Tony, where do losses in successive weeks to the Lions and now the Rams leave Darnold and the Vikings?
Yeah, so the convenient narrative here is to say that Sam Darnold reverted to being Sam Darnold. But just because it's convenient doesn't mean that it's not accurate. In the last 2 games that they've had with stuff on the line, the #1 seed in the NFC when they played Detroit, and this is a playoff game against the Rams, Sam Darnold wasn't very good. That offense only managed 9 points in each of those games. So, Mike, I think he cost himself a lot of money. I'm not sure someone is going to come through with a big long-term contract now. When they were 14-2, the team was carrying him around on their shoulders. They were touting him for MVP, and at that point, when they're going for the number one seed, he has 37 touchdown passes and 11 interceptions, which is good. In the last 2 games, he's been sacked 11 times. He's got only 1 touchdown pass, 1 interception. He lost a fumble, which led directly to a touchdown. He sort of, yesterday, I thought he looked lost out there. You know, I mean, he really did. And I remember when he said when he was with the Jets, you know, that he saw ghosts. And I thought, to a degree, last night was the ghost of Darnold past.
Tony, I totally agree with you. I'm going to take it further. Darnold looked lost, but so did his coach, who's a terrific coach. He looked lost. It looked like they didn't have a game plan, or the game plan was woefully inadequate. Taking 5 and 7 step drops when you need some quick passes to get away from that pressure, and you've seen it for 2 weeks. You saw it from Detroit, which provided a blueprint, essentially, for last night for the Rams. What are you doing? Why could no imagination from a staff that has been imaginative with Sam Darnold? Now, Tony, here's what we know from covering football, covering all sports for a lot of years. When you spend a first-round draft pick on somebody, you anoint that player. You say, this is our guy, and we're giving him our blessing. And that's what's going on with the kid from Michigan. And so Sam Darnold, to me, has thrown his last pass to the Vikings.
Really?
In a way, this is awful because he did win 14 games.
Yes.
My goodness, he had a great season. But, Tony, when executives, when they tap you on the shoulder and they stand up there and they let that kid hug Roger Goodell and they say, with the whatever pick of the first round, we are selecting. That is their golden child.
You don't
They're
think
not
Darnold
giving up on him.
You don't think Darnold's going to get the franchise tag for $40 million? You don't think he's coming back? He may not start anywhere else in the league if you're right. If you're right, because
he
you know
may
what?
Start somewhere else.
I thought the same as you thought. Throw the ball away. You can't keep taking all of these sacks.
What are you doing?
Throw the ball away. All right.
He looked overwhelmed. He looked totally overwhelmed last night.
And he had a great year. And now it looks like the whole season is a failure, and it shouldn't. It shouldn't. They won 14 games. Let's go back to the Dallas Cowboys coaching situation from the other day. It is still vacant. But here's a name that might rush into the breach, Deion Sanders. Deion and Jerry Jones have already talked once. Deion called talking with Jerry, quote, truly delightful and intriguing, unquote. Wilbon, what would you call it?
Irrelevant. This is going to come down to some real difficult decision-making for both Jerry and Deion if it advances, if the talks advance and become relevant. The first conversation I don't think is relevant. Tony, there's an essential question here to me. Can the Jerry Jones brand, and Jerry's ultimately interested in his brand, and it's mostly the Cowboys, but it's also the Jerry Jones brand.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah, I got you.
Can that exist productively with the